something with you that's very impressive about myself.
Okay. Off or on?
Are we rolling? I mean,
we are rolling.
Then I guess on.
Okay.
The thing that I'm most proud of about myself, like if somebody said, what do you like most about yourself? It's the fact that I've had this water bottle. I've had this water bottle for 20 years.
That is saying a lot. I mean,
I use it every single day.
I'm sure
even use a water glass.
There had to have been a close call at some point where it was almost left behind somewhere, and you went to heroic efforts to retrieve it.
In London, I left it at a venue, and we were like driving on the wrong side of the road. Wait, on the right side, wrong side. You follow?
I follow. Yeah.
We got it back though. But
you had to turn back. I mean, you were like, we're going back.
We have to go back into the heart of the city.
We made it this far.
Sorry. I cannot buy it.
I like to think you're like 20 kilometers away.
We were pretty far away.
Yeah.
It was like the show was over. It had already switched the venue over into like dance night. There was a long line around the block, cars everywhere.
Everyone else would have just been like, left for dead. It was a good run.
Yeah.
But
I mean, how do you just let it go at that point? I will be buried with it. Like it will be.
You better be now.
With me.
I mean, the stakes are so high at this point. Me. Lera Lynn, thank you so much for making some time for me.
Of course.
I've been
Thanks
looking
for
forward
the
to this.
invite.
Yeah.
Do I need to be like choking on this mic or?
No, you can just be free. Jared will speak up if there's some problems.
All right.
I think he never has before, but there's never been any problems. So, congratulations on the new record.
Thanks.
It's just Comic Book Cowboy is the name of the record and the first track you released.
Mm-hmm. Second track.
Second track you released. And I've been following you forever, and I want to talk about a little bit of the backstory too for fun, but let's stay in the present for now because the present is where we're always trying to be. And God, when you started rolling this out, it was like clear that the plan has been developing and in place for quite some time before the curtains parted and the announcement was made because of the tour dates and all of it. And is that just my misperception or is there something to that?
I think I've definitely, in the past, been a little more behind the 8 ball than I have with this project. I've finally learned after, I don't know, like 20 years of doing this that there's never enough time, or there's never too much time rather, to get everything planned, to get the vinyl and manufacturing and get your marketing plan together. And now, the name of the game is content. So you need a lot of time. Yeah. Yeah.
And you also seem to be striking quite a balance between that, the plan and the working toward the thing that's coming, and also just like keeping the content rolling. Can you tell me a little bit about how you juggle that incendiary tornado?
It is. It's exactly what it is. I mean, I guess I have a list. I like lists.
Yeah.
And I just keep trying to plan ahead for the future and have things in my pocket, in the can ready to go. Obviously, you need a lot of video content to go with your new releases and things to get people interested in them. But what happens after it's released? Most of the time, people just sort of like forget about it, even if they love it. There's just so much music.
There's so much everything.
Side note, I read the other day 120,000 tracks are released per day on DSPs.
Yeah. And only 30,000 of them are made by humans.
Right.
So it's even more bleak than it was a few years ago. No, it's
another rabbit hole, but
I would like to analyze the mental illness impacts on that from your perspective. But I feel like that's for 25 minutes from now.
Yeah.
We'll keep it light in the content world for the moment. But like, do you, as far as that goes, okay, hold on a second. The lists thing.
Yeah.
I was just talking to my friend Paul, Paul McDonald, yesterday. And one of the things that I mentioned to him and I'll mention to you is that what I really love about this podcast and what it kind of it seems like it focuses on or circles around is lifers. And I would put you in that category as somebody who's just like, I'm fucking gonna
know that I'm a lifer because I'm old.
I think that you have to prove it. You have to have had like a few ups and downs in your career and still been in it. I think that's old, young, whatever. You're not old.
I'm mid.
You're mid. Yeah. You're mid old. But I'm old now, so I can say it from my elevated perspective from the future. It only gets better. Okay, so why that is because I feel like everybody when they're young, well, everybody, all the talented, beautiful people when they're young, you have nothing to lose and you're like, I'm going to be a star, some version of that sentence. And you just set forth and try to make your way in the world. Yeah. And you're somewhat successful or greatly successful or not successful. And at some point, whatever those categories you might achieve of those three, you look up one day and you're like, okay, maybe I'll just, this was fun. It was fun, but it's a little bit of a hard road to hoe. And I think I'm going to seek my pleasure in the lowlands now. And you sort of gracefully tap out and you go into real estate or whatever the godforsaken back plan B is. And then there's another kind of person that's just like, has that same experience and even not super successful or whatever could be the category. I might put myself in that category, just like sort of successful, but you make that choice. You're just like, I'm in this. And I feel like that perspective is kind of fundamentally different in a way. Does this make any sense to you, or do you have a version of this story or perspective?
I just think it's interesting how people interpret, someone else's reality versus your actual reality, because I quit actually for the last couple of years. I was just so disheartened by the touring industry, like everything after the pandemic for me. And I think a lot of people got turned upside down. I'm still struggling to identify why or articulate what exactly has changed, but it's like, I started touring heavily in 2012. I released my first record in 2011. Actually, I released a record long before that too, but we don't need to talk about that. But all is to say, I've been working at it for a while, and, touring is a grind, but it used to be that you could hit the road, with some consistency and slowly build up a fan base, and that would sustain things. You could make enough money maybe to take some time off and make another record and then start out on the road again. I mean, it takes a long time to get to that point too, but I had finally gotten there. Right before the pandemic hit.
You had a groove.
I took a year or two off. I had enough money saved to do that, to make a record and just like change some big life things. And then the pandemic came, and I don't know what everything has changed. I guess people were stuck inside and technology excelled rapidly. And now there's just music everywhere and so much competition. And on touring is just a different game now, any night of the week. Like, the last run that I did with my band, 2022 in the US, like every night of the week, there were multiple competing shows. I'm talking Monday, Tuesday, and every city where we went, it's like, what's up with the turnouts? What is so different about this landscape now? And all of the talent buyers are scratching their heads and nobody really knows what's going on. But I digress.
No, I think that's part of
it. It became unsustainable for me. And it frankly is still unsustainable for me. I like that you think that I'm a lifer. I like that it appears that way. I feel like it's important though to tell like the truth about what I've been experiencing, because I think there's so many other musicians that are also going like, how the fuck does this work?
Sure.
Like, why is this so impossible for me? It's impossible for most of us,
Yeah, I don't disagree. And I guess by lifer, I mean, I don't know, you're free to quit at any time. And I think that even if you were to quit for 10 years, I think that there's still another Lera Lynn record in the future.
Well, here's the reality that I discovered. I mean, I went to therapy for this. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I have a child at home. I'm just wasting money. I'm wasting time away from my growing child. Like none of this makes sense,
Yeah.
So I'm going to quit. I'm going to work through this. I fired everybody, talked to the therapist, multiple therapists, process the whole thing, trying to separate my ego from my career and my failure from my self-worth and all these things. But what I discovered, even though I worked through that, was that my life I lost my sense of purpose. So, it's like that Gillian Welch song, Everything is free now. She just nailed it. I just got chills thinking about it. We're going to do it anyhow, and that's, I guess, the difference between the lifers, the people that realize art gives them meaning and purpose. They have to make it. And so they just find a way.
That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
As opposed to a vehicle for stardom or success or money or girls or boys, or you know what I mean? It's like it's something outside of itself, or can be, and maybe is when you're a lot younger. But at some point, many of us, I think, make this decision because it is so impossible and it makes no sense. And you might as well just dig the hole and put the money in it, or set it on fire, because just get over it with it, instead of have these hopes and dreams that burn slowly. And yet, you either have to do it or you don't. And if you're one of those poor, unfortunate souls who does, then you're a lifer.
Yeah.
And I think, is that what kind of the song Cherry Tree is about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's about trying to walk away from it and just being totally confused by the whole thing, where I fit into the world, what success means, how to move on with my life or not. Should I, and also it's about realizing that I squandered a lot of time and energy when I was a younger person. And some people would say, it's not a waste of time if you're just, enjoying yourself.
It brought you exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like once you become a parent, it becomes apparent to you how much time you wasted before. Because
time is so incredibly valuable.
Precious.
When you're
precious.
a parent. How have you managed to stay creative and be a mom at the same time? Have you a secret superpower for organization? Are you ruthless about like guarding a little space of your own? How do you negotiate all that?
I feel like no, I'm not. Well, I wear so many hats now, as we all do. Being an independent artist, as you know, means that you're a publicist, you're a content creator, you're sometimes a songwriter, rarely a
when
performer.
You're lucky. Yeah.
You're just doing everything all the time, doing promo and ads and like bunch of boring shit that I never wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then also, like, being a mom obviously takes up a big portion of my time as well. I have an office and I go in and I work. I exercise almost every day, and then I go in and I work 6 to 8 hours, mostly this computer shit, and then I switch back to family mode. This is like, I guess, what most people do who have kids. But
is your kid in preschool right now?
He's in kindergarten.
Wow, huge.
Yeah.
I'm in the throes of newborn right now.
Oh, how are you even here?
No, it's impossible. I get up at 4.
How are you even awake?
Yeah, no, it's after this, I will go into that room and lay down on the floor for 20 minutes, and I'll go back into the house and act like it's all fine, and do what needs to be done. Like every goddamn parent needs to be done. Time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same for you, but I mean, at this phase of my career and having to do everything myself, I have like business mode and creative mode. And sadly, I don't get to access creative mode as often as I'd like. But, at least I've made it to this point as a songwriter and a creator of music that I don't have to wait for the muse to show up. Like, obviously that happens, and it's even better, it's more gas in the tank. But when it's like, okay, it's time to start writing songs for a new project, I just schedule time and do it. That's the only way to get it done. We're writing a song. Yeah.
That is a huge life hack, I feel like, for every creative. That's something that I don't know. I maybe nobody has the luxury of it anymore, but when I was younger, I'll speak for myself, the world did move more slowly, and you could stare out the window for a little longer, without feeling like the 90 other things that are pressing are not going to get done, and then you'll be homeless in 2 weeks. But yeah, I think that every professional at some point, comes up all the time on the pod, learns to treat it professionally. If you want to be a professional, that means it's a job. Yeah. So on some level, the making of songs is that. Ooh, I don't want to say it too out loud because it sounds really just boring.
Well, I mean, like I said, you show up and some days the muse is there and some days it's not, but you still work. Yeah. You're still making progress, even if it's not your masterpiece, And maybe sometime you come back to it when the muse is there, and then you've already got a head start and you're like, oh, I've got it. I know the solution to this whole thing. Mm. I think there's a lot to be said for that. When I was a younger writer, I would also just sort of wait for inspiration, a bottle of wine and 3 cigarettes and I'm ready to roll, That's not the way it works anymore.
Okay, this is just like a little bit of life advice. Just like back up one click, which is I have an 8-month-old. So with that first year of life, did you manage to do anything creative? I know you made a record. Mm-hmm. Was that the first year, or was that like year two?
No, it was with newborn. Mm-hmm. Yeah, still lockdown, pandemic times.
And you produced that whole record, or I read that. Is that true?
Oh, wait. I think you're talking about, I released on my own. It's blurry.
Sure.
I released the record on my own, which I wrote and produced and recorded alone before the baby was born, before the pandemic, before any whispers of that were around.
Way back in 19.
I just wanted to see if I could do it. So yeah, that record was done and slated for release the month after my baby was born. Which was still intense.
Was it? Or
trying to be present for that.
So when was your baby born?
He was born in August of 2020.
Mm-hmm. Right in there.
Dang. Yeah. It was a strange time.
So the record came out like smack dab in the middle. Of the whole deal.
Yeah. And so it just kind of felt, and still does to some degree, like a message in a bottle, Mm-hmm. Just like...
It's there if anybody wants to. It's out in the ocean of the algorithm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm proud of that record. Mm-hmm. Some people, point out songs from that record that they really connect with. That's great.
How was that I've produced a number of my own records, and to varying degrees of personal satisfaction and external validation. But what was your experience producing something that was just, what made you want to do it, first of all? Like be the producer? I just
wanted to know that I could do it. Obviously, I knew that I could do a song, but a project, that's the size of a record, it was such a big challenge. My struggle is often with completing things. Like I'll start lots of songs or tracks. And even now, when it gets to that last 10% of finishing a record of like mix revisions or mastering revisions, I'm just like, oh, can this just be over now?
Yeah.
I really lose focus on it. But I just wanted to see if I could do it. And I was curious, like, what does my brain sound like when I am the only one in the room? I'm also really limited as an instrumentalist, so it's very meat and potatoes.
Did you play everything as well?
I did.
Oh, nice.
I recorded, I engineered everything with the help of YouTube. How do I do this in Pro Tools? Yeah, I enjoyed it to a degree, but it was not very fun. I enjoyed the challenge of it, but I think I like collaborating more.
But you wouldn't have known it had you not tried. So that's a great reason to do something.
Yeah.
I notice, I'll just say this for myself, is that similar. I made a record wanting to see if I could do it. And this is a long, long time ago, but I made it like a kind of a bluegrass record with a limited palette because that didn't seem too crazy. And then it was like, I thought it was good. and I enjoyed it. It wasn't too much. And then the next record, I was like, well, I'm going to make a proper studio record with a band recording and electric instruments and real drums. And that was much more challenging. And it actually had like a little moment. I was still living in Seattle at the time. Like KEXP, the hipster station, played it. And I was like a little bit of the darling of the time. And that was like validating, and it made me think that, oh, I can do this. And then when I moved to Nashville, I had other people make a couple of records, and then I came back and did it myself again. And even though I hired other musicians and stuff, it was still like, in hindsight, when I listened to that record, I'm like, that's just too much Korby. That's too much the way I think. It's too, you can just feel how maybe, and I don't, probably I'm the only one who would ever exactly put it in those terms, but I'm putting out a bunch of singles this year, and just one came out a couple of days ago, and I'm working with another producer, Anthony DaCosta. You might know him. He's so talented and wonderful. Yeah. And that's been a really, really great experience in one sense. First and foremost is when I recorded the first song that we made together. It was so wonderful to be an artist and to just walk into the studio with my guitar. And I don't even think I touched a mic. I just sat in the chair that he told me I had the song, knew it inside and out, and he did everything else. And we had back and forth and stuff. But it was so nice to let somebody else into the process. I feel like it's taken me 20 years being creative to like relax a little bit.
Yeah.
Let somebody. And that's been helpful. But it's really funny to strike this balance between, or the pendulum, the push-pull between letting people in, and staying true
and
to some
yourself
kernel
out.
Letting yourself out. Yeah. How have you, does that resonate with you? And how have you negotiated that? Because you've had huge people, you worked with T-Bone Burnett, and you've had big projects you've worked on, which I would think that if T-Bone Burnett, heard something a certain way and wanted it like that, it would be hard to be like, you know what, sir?
That was not my experience working with him.
Yeah.
He really just encouraging. He just loved everything. And maybe he's like that with everybody. Mm-hmm. His notes were usually like, can you make it any darker? Mm-hmm.
Cool.
More scotch, please. He was always there pouring it. But yeah, I've worked with so many amazing musicians, and I think that's a important aspect for me in collaborating with someone, is knowing that I can trust them, so that we can be open and truly collaborative in that way. But I don't think I've ever worked with someone that I was like, ooh, Mm-hmm. I'm sure that happens all the time. There's definitely been projects that I've done like trial, like, hey, I might want you to produce something. Can we do a trial track together and see how it goes? And then walked away from that knowing that wasn't the right thing, the right person for me. But
sure. No harm, no foul in that, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think it's just helpful to have somebody in the room to say, that's a good idea, but it might not be necessary.
Yeah.
Just let's pull back a little bit.
Yeah. No, it's really, really great. I was just telling you off mic, I do a little acting now and then, and my wife acts as well. So we help each other tape our auditions. That's how you do it these days, post-pandemic, which actually is one of kind of the upside, I would say, because it used to be a lot of auditions were in person.
Yeah.
So you'd have to get in your car and drive somewhere and wait in a
waiting room. It seems lower pressure too, right?
Way lower pressure.
Do it until you get it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You have times on your side, and I think it's on balance awesome. And you can also audition for things much farther away. Mm-hmm. They're taping. The decentralization of the entertainment industry is, I think, industry-wide, be it music or film or whatever, publishing. And I think that's a great opportunity for a lot of people in smaller markets, myself as one. To your point, working with Randa, my wife, it's just so not even important. It's just like critical to have somebody in the room on the other side of the camera that you trust, mm-hmm. who knows you and has your best interest in mind, is also talented. Yeah. And you kind of know too, but it's just that validation, or it's just like, actually that other thing, it's just always nice to have somebody else's brain to bounce your idea off of, because mm-hmm. everybody sees things a little different. And sometimes mm-hmm. that perspective is helpful. Not always.
And you can't necessarily always know how you're being perceived. You know, you can imagine how
100%.
you're being perceived, but that's where it's really helpful to have somebody else in the room.
Yeah. Speaking of which, and also if there's any subject that we talk about and you're like, I don't really want to talk about that, that's fine. We'll take it out. It's all good. But it would be interesting to know how your creative relationship is with your partner. Todd, he's like, it seems to be very much a part of your sound, at least in the new record. Mm-hmm. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is he a co-writing partner as well?
Yeah, he co-wrote several songs on the record. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Todd and I have been friends since I moved to Nashville in 2012. And our mutual friend, Peter Bradley Adams, suggested him to play guitar in my band. And I had just moved to Nashville, like I said, and we did some gigs together. And Todd was like, do you want to co-write sometime? And I was like, ew, co-write? No.
Yeah.
I came from Athens, Georgia, where like that's just not a thing as much there. At least
it's not a thing
not
anywhere.
In my experience.
Except
really?
Here. I feel like maybe LA and New York, but no.
I mean, when you get into like big time pop, like co-writing is definitely part of it times 10. But that was my first experience, and I remember thinking that he was he would just throw out any idea. I mean, I was embarrassed for him, you know, some of his ideas they're so cringe, but
that's so great though, that you could just, I mean, because that's what you have to get over as a co-writer.
Yeah.
The fear of sounding stupid, because you do sound stupid.
And he's just that person in general, you know, he's just such an open person, open heart, open mind. Like he can listen and find the good aspects of any music, which is crazy. I'm just like, no, that sucks. You know, and he's like, wait, this is good about that. But,
listen to the sound of the snare. Hear that?
Yeah.
Killer snare sound.
Those claps were really great. But yeah, we became collaborators early on. I mean, we only wrote a couple of songs together in the beginning, and they were okay, not great. I feel like we've really stepped into what we are as a collaborative unit with this record.
How would you describe that?
Like you were saying, someone who really knows you and understands you. Like we've been together for 7-ish years, and we have a 5-year-old child. Like we know each other pretty well at this point. And we've been playing music together for 13 years. So we really understand the other person's like harmonic preferences, and he knows the kind of, you know, phrasing that I might lean towards and stuff like that. And we're kind of like one brain musically now. It's taken a long time to get there, but it's really beautiful. For the new record, we did, when we did co-writing, we would just get in the studio. Sometimes I would do like a quick drum pass and we'd build a loop from that. And then he would play guitar. I had all these lyrics that I was just like stuffing away, mostly like, you know, poetry and prose and stream of consciousness, kind of like angry shit, because like my life was falling apart, but also blooming in other ways. It was just, you know, weird dichotomy of experiences. But he would just sort of play guitar, and I would call through some of the stuff that I had written and top line, basically. And then we would just shape it from there. And that was a really efficient and fun way to work.
There's a lot of non-standard chord progressions all over the place. I feel like that's kind of a trademark of your music too. It's like a lot of surprising progressions, but I mean, there's like full on modulations in the new record and stuff. Yeah. And is that, how did that happen? Or was that part of the shaping and Todd would just do, I think, sort of write a curve and you'd go with it? Or
yeah, sometimes. We didn't co-write all of the songs together, but I'm just trying to think of like the track listing now and how it all went down. But
I was just listening to Beige this morning, and that's it's all over the place in there.
Oh yeah, that song is incredible, and that is
anything
like,
but beige. So that was probably the joke.
That is like one of the most equal collaborations I think we've ever done, and it happened so fast. Like we had been writing in the studio with John Paul White, Todd and I, and John, and I had to go pick up Leo from school, our child. And so I left. And as I was driving, I was just like, creative brain was on. And all the lyrics just came to me, and I was dictating them into my phone. And I got back to the studio, and I was like, I have this idea. And Todd just started playing his rubber bridge guitar, and it just fell out. Those are rare moments, but really beautiful song. And I feel like, although it changes keys and it's pretty weird, it doesn't sound like that necessarily. Like it feels easy, right?
Yeah, it feels easy. That's what it's almost an invisible sort of movement.
That is the brilliance of Todd Lombardo, though. He is a chord ninja. He has a way, he utilizes a lot of open strings and like resonance from the open strings in passing chords, and like that. He's amazing.
Well, we got to get him on the pod. Jared, make a note. No, he's he's also a famous Nashville beast, I feel like. He's a very in-demand guitar player. He's played on projects of mine. I think that Tim Lauer produced.
Nice.
Our paths have crossed musically.
I can't keep up with everything that he does. I mean, sometimes he comes home from sessions and I'm like, how was it? He's like, good. I'm like, who was the artist you were playing with today? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
That also sounds like Nashville.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the things that I always had a hard time with the co-writing deal. I noticed it first when other people would never be able to remember even the titles of very recent co-writes when they were trying to describe it. And then I noticed in myself that oftentimes when I would co-write with somebody, even if I liked the song or had a nice feeling about the session or whatever, we finished a song, if you asked me 3 days later what it was called or how to sing it, I wouldn't be able to remember.
It's just a symptom of our world. It's just too much, too fast all the time. I'm working on another project with some other friends in town, and we get together only whenever it makes sense for us all, which is hard. They both tour, and I occasionally tour. And but yeah, we got together, and I was like, I have no memory of the song that we did last time. It was like a month or two ago. We didn't bounce it or anything after, so we didn't listen to it. And it was a surprise again. It's like, oh yeah, but I can't keep things like that in my brain either anymore. And like, today we were rehearsing for the tour coming up, and I'm playing the songs on this record for the first time since we recorded the record. It's been like, we finished the mastering in January. And so I think we made the recordings over the course of a year, very spaced out whenever there was time off. You
record at home mostly, or you have it?
Todd has a studio. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does it have a name?
Tolo Tone.
Cool. Gotta have a studio with a name.
Anyway, I didn't know how to play any of the songs today. It's like writing down the chords again.
Yeah.
It used to be so different for me. When I wrote a song, it was like implanted in my brain forever, you know?
Yeah, because you were also like maybe playing it that night on a stage, and then 20 nights after. There's such an opportunity when you're just touring a lot. There's just a lot of muscle memory and repetition that goes into it. And like
true.
My old songs I can pick up right now and play.
Yeah.
Just very close to probably how I used to play them.
Because you play them so many times.
But like the new stuff, it just takes a while to get it back in your hands.
Well, look, if we weren't also juggling everything, parenthood and all of the shit that goes along with being an artist, there'd be a lot more time for committing songs to memory.
Yeah. There'd be a lot more time, for just like playing music. I mean, I probably hazard a guess to say that the amount of time proportionally that you get to play music is a very small fraction of your overall job.
It's so small. It's like 5%.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Surprise, surprise, kids.
I saw an Interview magazine post the other day. It was a porn star. I can't remember her name. I'm not well versed in porn stars, but she was like, I'm sad that like 90% of my job is social media and 10% is sex. And I was like, yeah, girl, I feel the same.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably every creative person nowadays. I just feel like the industry, our jobs, it's all a self-checkout line. It's like this thing, we all have the same thing now. It's the same opportunity. And it's like, how do you use this thing and the little things that are in this thing to make your loud sound cut. It's like, it's really crazy. It used to be that you had to have a coveted piece of outboard gear to get exactly that reverb, which was so awesome if you were one of those few people that were good enough that you could afford, or somebody bankrolled your opportunity to use that piece of amazing equipment.
Yeah.
And that is so fundamentally different. I think about that a lot. Like, what is precious anymore, music or otherwise? Because very few things are precious now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw an ad for Suno, the AI music app, recently.
Seen it.
And this guy's like, I've got 2 chords and this melody that's like, it's horrible singing, and he just dumps it into Suno and it spits a song back out at him. And I love reading the comments on posts
it's
like
funny.
that.
Yeah.
And people are like, you dump soulless garbage in and you get soulless garbage out. I'm like, it's fun for me to read that, obviously, because I'm a songwriter and an independent artist. But is that how most people perceive it? I don't know.
I think that I read once a long time ago, and I was reading this history of classical music, and it's a common complaint with people. I'm not even a classical aficionado, and I know hardly anything about it. I should know a lot more, given I read one book. But it was, there's a lament in classical music community of like, it's so few people that really appreciate this incredibly beautiful music, And I can understand that even from afar. I'm just like, I don't know, like virtuoso violin, that is really special because it's so hard to do. And when you see it in a room, I've only seen like a world-class violinist one time at the Nashville Symphony, and it was a thing to remember. I felt like I was sitting in the presence of something transcendent, like very special, like very precious. Anyway, there's this lament, like how come more people don't? And this book was like, actually, like it's always in a very small fraction of the population that's enjoyed classical music. It probably will always be that way. And I think of music like maybe what I do, maybe what you do, people that like really like artists, people who just want to know what singer-songwriters have to say and how they do it. It's probably never, I'm not boxing you in or your career or any of our careers or anything like that, but there will always be a kernel of the population that just is fascinated with people who can write songs and play music. And we're always trying to expand that presence. But I think that there's most people that listen to music are just like some variation of Soccer Mom, which is why country music is the way it is, because they just don't care. And I'm not even blaming them. It's like life is busy. It's really hard. And so a lot of people just don't even care about music at all. But if there's some bop that comes on the radio that like lightens their load for 2 minutes, then slam dunk. And they don't care if an AI made that or whatever made that. And that's going to cost a lot of people.
They can't tell the difference.
They can't tell the difference.
Most people can't tell the difference.
Totally.
I mean, it's hard for me to tell the difference now.
And it's like year 1.
I know.
I mean, year 10, what's going on?
Yeah. I think that I just have this great sense that we're moving back to local, physical, everything.
1000%.
Local community, local music, physical presence, live music. I mean, that's the only way we can survive. I mean, not as artists, but as humans, as people.
Well, and just to like beat my precious horse, because that's precious. Like physical proximity is precious now.
Yeah.
It's like you can't scale it, right? Yeah. And I think about this a lot. And in fact, this like space, thank you for pointing out, it's got a vibe, and it's because I'm investing this space with something that's it's a one of one. There's no any space like it. It can only be this space. And we had like actually our first show here. We had my friend Mare and Anthony DaCosta, and we had 40 people. It's a house concert. Nice. It actually like sets up. There's a green room right there. There's a bathroom on the other side, and it was like such a special night because it was people in a room enjoying music together. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I will always savor that. And that's my like mission, or maybe if a crusade, to just get people to go out and see live music and try to like, it's so special to see it. And maybe it's because I didn't grow up near clubs. I'm like a country kid from the potato patch. I think I saw my first concert when I was 20 years old, probably 18 maybe. And it was like, it just blew me away. And I'm still that kid, like every time I see, especially a great show, but even like a mid show, I just love seeing people try on our stage and take the chance and just fucking put themselves out there. God damn, it's hard to do that. And if you can do it like with elan, then man, you got the wind. May the wind be at your back and fill your sails all the way full. Anyway, but yeah, I think you're right, and I think that it's going to be a really interesting thing to see how humans adapt to revaluing themselves. Maybe would be a way of putting it, because now like the AI stuff already that comes in the phone, it's like you can do this and you can do this and you can do this, and like maybe there's a bunch of people that really care about that, and like, oh wow, I can just say like, make an Asian girl with bunny ears walk through a meadow at midnight in Georgia, and then it does it, and that's. I find that to be an utterly meaningless activity, and I think that's probably going to be a lot of people. Who knows? Just riffing. It's all speculative from here.
There's a lot to say about it. It's the unicorn conversation these days,
I even hate saying the word anymore. It's like I honestly don't care. I don't think about that shit, and I try not to live there. This isn't not that. I like to do things that AI cannot do. I think that's the secret.
Well, it'll eventually be able to do everything.
It's not going to do this though. You and me. It can do a facsimile. It can do a facsimile of you. AI. What's that?
People are falling in love with AI.
That's sure, but they're not. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, your actual soul and your person of Lera Lynn sitting in this room cannot be duplicated. And this conversation, you could make it up. You can make up a version of what we might say together, but what's actually transpiring between these two people right now cannot be duplicated.
I mean, it's such an interesting conversation, and this is not what our podcast is. Yes, because I mean, what is consciousness? How do you define that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is...
Is it electricity? Is it electrical impulses? Because that's AI, right?
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I'm just throwing
that's for
out
smarter people than I.
Oh yeah, same.
I just feel like at the end of the day, there's people that think that like, is there such a thing as a soul? And I like, not even a religious deal, but is there something sacred about people that makes a person unique unto himself? And I'm just like, it's a given. I start there. And if you question that part of it, then anything's possible, you know? But it's like AI cannot have it cannot be born, you know? It can't have experienced like coming out of your mom's womb or being a mom and seeing that. That's all crazy graphic. But it's just like these kind of like seminal, essential human experiences like AI cannot do. Maybe it can do some version of it, but I don't know. It's just like, fuck you, AI. It's like, you'll never be me.
That's a meme. It's just like, fuck you, AI.
You can't do this. You can't actually play guitar. You can play guitar, like you can make a picture of a guy playing guitar way better than I could, but you're not a body yet. And maybe a robot will come up and be able to like, and be amazing. But it's like, that's not the game. That's not the game at all. Like, as far as I'm concerned, that's not any game I care about at all. So go ahead and make that game and knock yourselves out, kids. I'm going to be over here doing something cool.
Cool to you, and that's all that matters.
And all the people that care about that stuff, we're going to be over here doing something cool, and you guys are going to want to be over here because this is obviously where the game is at. Like making a robot go blah, 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 blah.
It makes me think about how when music went digital, well, then suddenly people started getting interested in vinyl again, which is like the bulkiest, most cumbersome, sensitive, heavy. Yes. Like
I've melted
lowest
a few
quality.
Yeah. On accident in the back of my car.
Yeah. And that's still going. Like people are craving tangible again. And I think that's just going to continue to spread throughout all facets of our lives. And, in talking about content generation earlier and just like all of the things that we're juggling, you know, sure, there's a part of me that's like, it'd be great if I like developed this huge new fan base, like something took off and like made things a little easier, but that's not my focus anymore. That used to be my focus, but my focus now is just to service the fans that I've already got, you know, the people that have been following my career since the beginning and engage with my music and buy my music and come to shows. Like, that's my goal.
Yeah. I think it's noble and sustainable and real, and you're gonna be fine. That's why you're gonna be fine. Be nice to have like more money and
a viral TikTok moment.
Yeah, which you will have. Like I feel like we all get one. I don't know. Mine's not anywhere coming, but what do you do with one viral? I mean, yeah, what do you do with one viral TikTok moment? There's a couple. I have a playlist that I've like always kind of loving on and changing up. And it's just my way of like trying to stay in touch with what's happening it's just like having an assignment to like keep on my thumb on the pulse a little bit of what's going on. I put a TikTok girl song in there because I was like, that's kind of Americana. And I just like, it's a bop. I like it. And I don't know, that was like 3 months ago. And she's trying to like double down on it and make another song. And I'm like, that song's not as cool. And it's just like a viral moment is overrated because you just get crazy and you're just like, now I've got to beat that. I would rather be the rising tide than, a tidal wave. You just like slow and steady, keep doing the thing.
I'm more interested in getting under people's skin and staying there.
Yeah.
Not just being like a
bright, shiny thing.
And next, you know?
Bop is a bad word in my book. Yeah. I keep saying it. I'm like, I don't like bops. I'm suspicious of bops. AI can make bops. Yeah, no, I think that's really, let's talk about you in this way, in the sense that one of the surprises I feel like of the new record and you're rolling it out is like there's dancing. Mm-hmm. That's not new. That's not something you've done before.
No.
What prompted that?
I mean, that song was like, you got to dance. You can't make a video and not dance.
Yeah. But like you could make a video and sort of you could dance, you could, but not like you were like, no, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right.
It was a risk because I've never studied dance. I tried out for the cheerleading squad in high school and I was one of 2 people that was cut. They were like, I went in their office and I was like, what? Why was I cut? And they're like, you're too big. You're just too tall. I was like, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. I was a good foot taller than everybody, but still. But yeah, it was a risk. I've been burned with a music video in the past that is no longer around.
Available.
Yeah, because people were so fucking mean on YouTube.
Just about the dancing in particular?
I don't know. It was like a really cute, campy kind of video where I was executed in different ways, and then there was also dancing in the courtroom, and but yeah, I just thought, you know what? I don't care anymore. I want to do this. And if it's not great, then oh well, next. You know? I've let go of being too precious with things. That's been really liberating.
I feel like that's what we all kind of learn.
As you get older.
Hopefully. Yeah, you do. It sucks.
Yeah.
But there are bright spots.
Well, it's interesting too. When I was younger, it's like I didn't realize that the music I was making and releasing would be forever.
Sure.
I didn't understand that. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
And once you put it out there, it's out there. I mean, I guess you can always go and take it down, but somebody's got it still.
Yeah. To wit, this didn't always used to be the grand expanse of professional podcast utopia that it is now. But it started during the pandemic when I got interested in a couple of tech gear. I'm not like super tech guy, but there's these ATEM switchers that came out, this brand new technology, and all of a sudden you could have multiple cameras. And I was like, everybody's making live streams, and I hated all that. I hate to do what everybody else is doing. And so it's like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it coolly. And so I had this one piece of gear, and I got a couple of cameras, and I started doing this thing on Friday afternoons called Friday Lunch. And it was just me playing a couple songs for my fans, and then me being me, whatever, talking to the microphone. And it was just to keep up, keep out there like we were all doing. Fine. And then I got sick of myself. And so I was like, well, let's just bring other people in. And so I started having like other folks come in, and we would play together, just like put together something, or they'd send me their chart and I'd learn the song and sing a harm or whatever. It was mostly just about playing music together. And then we have a little interview, but we were both kind of facing this way. Anyway, one day Joe Pisapia was coming over to do that. And I had this like, what if we did that thing where you sit opposite each other at a table I had a friend, a neighbor kid next door was helping me do this. And he was like, you mean like a podcast? And I was like, yeah, like a podcast. And so we did that. I got a table. Joe came over and it was just like such a fun moment. Okay, this is too long of a story, but it was like, oh, this is great to just like make it the conversation's the point, because I'm terrible at parties and a lot of other things. But one of the things I enjoy doing is like having a conversation with one person about something that they care about a lot. And Joe was such a great guest, and it just like set the tone for the whole project. But still, I would have, in that he was one of those, I was still doing this. Just if you want me to learn a couple songs, I'll play with you. It's because it was like in my mind, it's just about like playing music and not being precious about it, because we live in Nashville. We're trying to like be great, and people are looking at us, and I'm just like, I hate all that shit. I love music. And so let's just like give people permission by just like playing together. This is all to say that when I look back at those videos, I'm like, because I am just like I'm kind of barely holding on. I don't know the song super well, and it's forever. And that's why, like all the guests now, I'm always just like, bring in your own team. Like, let me just make you, comfortable with what you want to do, present yourself the way you want to present yourself. And it's been a much better idea. But I had to learn very slowly and repeatedly that, it's forever when you record it and put it up on the internet. And I don't really want a bunch of people seeing me like sort of pull off a Joe Pisapia song, like, and sort of pull off or like mostly pull off, or, I'm like, I guess maybe I'm retreated back into being like, wow, I wanted people to see only the very best of what I do. Yeah. It's interesting. It's like,
I think you got to do a balance, there's obviously videos that you've put out that are flawless, but you're human.
Oh yeah. Most all of them.
And so, but there's something to be said for that moment when you don't really know the music all that well, and you're listening really intently, and
it's very
spontaneity.
Like, it's super present. I never feel more present when I'm just
palpable,
because I'm fully engaged.
There's something about that too, and you can get by on that.
Yeah, it's called a live show.
I mean, we just recorded something yesterday, and there was a bad note in it, and we're like, oh, what do we do? Because it was live in the room with a bunch of instruments.
Pull it out.
I was like, I don't really care. I mean, believe me, I enjoy perfect pitch. Not that I have it, but I would like to have it. But also, I just, that kind of stuff I just don't care about anymore.
No, I get it. Here's a great story. Not even a story, but that Son of a Preacher Man track by Dusty Springfield. What a timeless, seminal, amazing recording that you can go back to again and again and again and again. It's deeply pleasurable. Well, if you listen to it, try this at home. On the downbeat of the bridge, the bass player hits the absolute worst clam ever.
That.
Yeah. And it's just awesome.
Yeah.
And he just fixes it right.
So
it's like
many recordings from that era. There's like bass flubs and like drop beats and like weird shit, and
totally
just leave it.
It sounds.
And the funny thing is, they probably cringe every time they hear it, but in a weird way, we kind of anticipate it and look forward to it.
Yeah. Because it makes us feel like people. I mean,
I don't know. It just becomes this like
it's
little
part
candy,
of the song.
like little brain candy, like
it's like an Easter
treat.
egg.
There's the thing. Yeah.
Here it comes.
It's like a little hook. Yeah.
Cool. Here's some more mistakes and like leaving things alone. And it's so hard to do that. That was one of the things about when I was producing stuff that left to my own devices. Like I can run a Pro Tools session and a Logic session, and I, can edit, and it just gets very difficult to not fix the thing. Like the note that's like a little out of tune. You're like, should I touch it? Should I not? I'm not going to. And you won't until the 50th time you hear the song. You're like, God damn it.
I think pitch is such a subjective thing. I mean, I sometimes...
Tell me more.
Sometimes I'll hear a recording of my own voice and think, I nailed that. That's perfect. And then on a different day, I'll be like, that note's not right. Oh, no. Oh, that note's wrong, too. And then a different day comes and I hear it again and I think it's perfect. There's something about it. I think that everybody interprets pitch differently. Obviously, there's a lot of famous singers who always sort of sing on the flat side of the note, but they're famous, so it must not
it's part of their thing.
Bother people too much, I don't know.
On some level, like our flaws are the very thing that makes us us, right? I mean, not maybe on a...
Yeah, and when you're looking at notes on a graph in a computer, it becomes very apparent where they go wrong, you know, but when you're just listening to the whole thing, I don't know.
Reason number 6,000 why you just shouldn't make your own records. You should sit across the room and don't look at the graph and don't look at the grid for the beats. Just like actually listen to the thing. And it's really...
See, now that's where I would include that in the last 10%, like fixing everything, pocketing things, tuning things. Like I lose patience with that. And like, I guess some people might call that laziness. That's where I'm like, I'm done with this. Like,
what about the like the visual side of what you do when you're making, an album cover or your content? How does that compare to, are you color correcting stuff, or you kind of pick the edit and you're just like, you guys
for videos?
Just the visual side of it. Are you as hands-off-ish or quote unquote lazy or bored with the last 10% on the visual side as you are the audio side, or?
No, the visual world is so exciting for me because I have a lot less experience doing that. I'm more interested in all of it than with music. The tying up the bows at the end with music. I'm just like, this is not creative anymore. I don't want to be part of it. But the video stuff still feels really creative for me. So I enjoy it. I mean,
what do you edit on?
I'm not editing it, no, but just collaborating, art direction and producing and directing, stuff like that.
Do you have the same team that you work with typically?
I have one person that I work with. Yeah. And the Comic Book Cowboy video we shot with some friends, like volunteers that just showed up with their iPhones and filmed everything. And I'm sorry, because you have these really beautiful cameras here, but also the iPhone camera is great.
Zero offense. Yeah, I don't care at all.
I wish I had these nice cameras, but I don't. So iPhone cameras.
What's fun is that like their cameras are, one man's camera is another man's iPhone. And we shoot for these singles that I've been putting out. Randa, my wife, among her many talents she's a very good producer of large projects and small, and she's got a creative insight, but she's also incredibly organized, and she's one of those people who can tell people what to do without them being angry about it. She's charming. And so putting her skills to work, and she enjoys making music videos, and so for every single we put out, we've like done a proper music video, which the ROI, return on investment, for a music video is in the gutter. It's just so stupid.
Oh, that is purely a labor of love.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It absolutely is.
But I'll say the artist Lola Young.
This is the second time her name's come up really recently.
I found out about her a little while ago, but only because I saw a video on YouTube. It just like popped up, and I was like, that's interesting, and now I'm a fan. Well, that's all you can hope for.
Yeah,
right?
That's the best case scenario. I will say that it's really fun to hit the Vivo channel. Like we have a Roku, and you can, like, Vivo is a channel you can have, and you just can turn it on and just videos play. It's just like a really peaceful way to discover new things. And just be like gently inspired by somebody else's
inspired.
It's not threatening.
Violently.
No one's telling me what to do. Don't have to put the camera this way. But my point earlier was just that, like, having those real music videos, and that's when like the mini Alexas come out, and like there's somebody's pulling focus, somebody else is like framing it. Maybe the guy who's DPing the music video is not even touching a camera. That's been the case on the last two we've done. And if there's a reason why those things are expensive, and that's the same reason why they look just so much better than these. Like, this is as nice as a DSLR really is, a Blackmagic Pocket Cinemas. They're wonderful, and I'm grateful to you guys. You're doing a really good job. But it's fun to do all of the things. The iPhone thing is awesome because it's so free, and you can you don't have to be precious. You can try a bunch of shit, and it still looks amazing. And it's also like people kind of want to see not the shellacked thing.
Isn't that funny? It's like there's this very talented photographer that I work with, Elise Gafkin. She used to live here in Nashville. She's moved since, but her photos are exquisite. Her film photography, I mean, it's the most real picture. She's just very good at capturing someone at exactly the right moment and getting their essence and lighting it. And it's works of art, all of them. I can post one of her photos and people like it. But then if I post just a dumb iPhone selfie of my face, breaks the internet.
Yeah.
Like, guys, come on.
Yeah. It's weird. It's
why? Why don't you appreciate the art? I think that
it's another
one
really
of the
deep
problems
conversation,
is
actually.
Everyone feels like they're being duped, and they want authenticity. And if there's lighting in a studio, then it can't be real. Next. Just too much of that. But anyway.
Well, I think that just to that point, I think this is an interesting speculation because I think that people are sick of being sold to and duped. And I think transparency is at a premium. Again, thinking about like what's precious in this day and age. Podcasts for all the hilarious memes about every white guy's got to have one. I get it. It's funny and stupid. The thing that is cool about them and why people like them, why I like them, I'll just speak for myself, is that it's impossible to be anything other than yourself in an hour long conversation. And I think that's really attractive to people. It's attractive to me. And so I think there's something similar about that, that we're all trying to figure out. Like, art is a way of like obliquely presenting your heart. It's like you're not sitting there in front of somebody like telling them how you feel and
right.
like, because that's gross. So nobody wants to see that. But if you put it in like a nice way, in a way that's like relatable, and there's like a little bit of distance there that welcomes somebody else in, that's where we're all living. And but there's in that distance, there's so many ways to manipulate that are false, and it's fraught, I guess I would say. And that is a really tricky thing to negotiate, I think, for all of us. I'm just like on the other side of the user. I like seeing somebody just take a picture of themselves too. I think I'm more attracted to that in a swipe, because it's just like, that's them. Even though there's probably super manicured in a way, and they took 700 pictures to get that one. I don't know. I know that's how it is for me, but anyway. Well,
yeah. And I mean, you were saying like, how do you keep the balance of content, and just to take it back to the beginning, there's the art, the videos, the art photography, but like, it can't be all that. Well, cause I can't afford that. I don't have enough time or money for that. But also like people like I think a mixture of both. They like to engage. And so when I run out of content, it's just the face that gets it done.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Well, you got a nice face too, so does its own thing.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see where this is all headed. You're playing. I think I'm going to time this release, if it's cool with you, for maybe right before that analog show in Nashville.
Okay.
Just to like, I'm sure it'll sell out, or if it's not already.
It's not yet.
It will be. I love that venue.
I haven't played there yet.
Have you been there, though?
I've been there, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of funky in that one, because it's like along the long wall. But God, the vibe feels so great. Also, the last one I went to, like 2 years ago, I went there, and it's a nice room, and they were serving drinks in plastic cups. And I was like, this is not a consistency you wanted. So it was boo. And last time I went there was a couple of weeks to see my friend Jason Carter play. And they served me a drink in a proper glass. So it's come a long way, baby. And I'm really excited for this. I mean, you're working your ass off, and I feel like I'm inspired by you, and that's why I've reached out. Thanks. And by the music, by the visual stuff, by your work ethic, by your legacy. You've been at this for a minute, and I've loved the new tracks. I've only heard the 3, and I can't wait to hear the rest. So
Thank you. The record comes out September 19th.
Cool. So it'll just have come out, and if you haven't heard it yet, you must ASAP. Lera, thanks so much for coming by.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
More soon. Hey, thanks for watching. Go ahead and click here to like and subscribe. You can click right there to watch another video, or click here to watch a playlist featuring songs of the Morse Code podcast. Okay, thank you very much.